Hey, what's going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG online video, where today we're going to be looking at a baby Blacephalon deck. A deck I didn't think really stood much of a chance post-rotation. It just felt like it lost so much stuff with the search of Ultra Ball, and then also gained a really tough time against Reset Stamp, but Brent Koosmans actually placed in the top 16 at the Cologne Regional Championships this past weekend with it, and also earlier on this season he actually placed in the top 32 at Sheffield Regionals, so two very consistent finishes with the same deck. I believe he did change up the list a bit between the two tournaments, but this is the list that he used to get 14th place over in Cologne, so huge congratulations to him getting top 16 at the biggest regional championships in Europe's history. Awesome stuff, and with a unique deck nonetheless. Let's go ahead and talk about baby Blacephalon and why it's good, what gives it potential, and maybe we can play some games with it and see some of that power for ourselves. And it is named Baby BLOWNS due to this baby, the small Blacephalon non-GX, however you want to say it, with Fireball Circus. For 3 fire energies, discard any number of fire energy cards from your hand. This attack does 50 damage for each card you discarded in this way. So in a format that is absolutely dominated by tag teams, it seems like something that can one-shot tag teams as a one-prizer could be very strong, and that's what Fireball Circus can do for us. If we have 6 fire energies in our hand and discard them with that effect of Fireball Circus, we'll be able to knock out any tag team in the game. Mainly things like Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX, Raichu and Raichu Tag Team GX, and then also with 5 fire energies we can knock out things like Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team. Also have 1 copy of Blacephalon-GX here, or Big Blown as some might say. Mind Blown actually can come in and clean up knockouts for us if need be. Say our energy gets stuck on a baby Blown, we don't have enough energy to come in with the another Fireball Circus because the energy is stuck on here. We can use Mind Blown to discard them, but it's mostly here for Burst GX and then Bursting Burn. Sometimes we kind of run out of gas at the end of the game, and it's really difficult to take that last prize, and Burst GX gives us that GX attack to just discard that card, and then boom, we have no prizes left in for the win. We can even go into it early. There's not a lot that can deal with Big Blown early on that can one-shot it very fast. At least on their first turn. Usually by turn 2, a lot of the tag teams will be able to deal with it, but yeah, Bursting Burn is also a good option if we are going second against some of these tag team decks, just to force them to find switch cards and things like that. We also have Victini here, Victini Prism Star with the Infinity attack. This attack does 20 damage for each basic energy card in your discard pile, then shuffle those cards into your deck. So that gives us, another potential one-shot on tag teams, at this time just for 2 energy cards. And then also have Pheromosa here, and this is really just here because it's an Ultra Beast. We can search it out with Ultra Space, and it does have free retreat, so it gives us a nice pivot option on those turns that we might need it. So let's go ahead and expand it and take a look at the rest of the deck, see what else we have going on. It is a Greens engine deck, also of course with Welder letting us draw cards and also get additional fires in play. We don't have any Pokemon with abilities, so Greens can help us get really set up very well, and can also find us the couple copies of Beast Ring on those 3 and 4 prize turns from our opponents if need be. Just gives us that acceleration so that we can, Greens for Beast Ring plus Fire Crystal to get some energies in hand, and then also accelerate energies to the baby Blacephalon, not having to Welder to it that turn. We got the 4 custom catchers as well as just a way to gust up something on our opponent's side of the field and knock it out if need be. 3 Fiery Flints can get our fires out of the deck. We just want lots of ways to get fires into the hand for Fireball Circus. Of course, Fire Crystal does that for us as well. Got the 1 Pal Pad, so we could potentially reuse Welders or Green's Exploration. Also a single copy of Brock's Grit in order to shuffle back some energies maybe if need be. Could maybe help us get another Blacephalon if we need it. We've also got the 1 copy of Reset Stamp, is very good to kind of just mess with our opponent on those turns that we need it. 4 Pokégears just added consistency, as well as the 4 Acro Bikes. Then we have the 4 Ultra Space 1 Heat Factory Stadium split. Lots of stadiums. We're definitely going to be winning the Stadium War, but there's really no stadiums out there that our opponents could be playing that are really hurtful to us. Of course, we don't have any abilities, so we don't really care about getting rid of Power Plant. Ultra Space is just the only way to find Baby Blacephalon in this format, so we're going to definitely be utilizing that for that purpose. Also, against any of the Mewtwo decks or any Abilities R decks, if they put a Heat Factory in play, or excuse me, a Giant Hearth in play, that can really help us to find our energy cards. And speaking of which, to round the list out, we do have the 1 copy of Beast Energy Prism Star to boost the damage of Fireball Circus. Against things like Mewtwo, it's 1 less energy we have to discard from the hand in order to get a knockout, so that is very good. And then 15 Fire Energies to round things out. So there is the deck. Congrats once again to Brent on the finish. Amazing stuff. Like I said, getting top 16 at a regional championships, especially the biggest one ever in the history of Europe, is an amazing accomplishment. And the fact that he's been consistent with this deck definitely shows that it has potential in this format. So I would expect this to be a deck that you start to see a little more maybe on the PTCGO ladder. You might start to see it at your League Cups popping up, and who knows, we may even see it have success at the Knoxville Regional Championships coming up next weekend. D Hollow here. I believe I saw a Dark and Metal type, so maybe some sort of Spiritomb deck. One thing about this deck is that it does feel like it has a pretty tough time against any of the other one-prize decks, namely Giratina, and then also, I suppose, Spiritomb if you ever were to go up against that. But we'll see what we can do if that is indeed what our opponent is playing. We do start Blacephalon, which is totally fine. It's definitely the most likely starter. And we'll maybe get an idea of what our opponent is playing. Does look like it is a Pikarom deck, so I guess that other type I didn't notice was Lightning type. And so Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX. So things are not great for us right now. We don't have a very good hand. We could maybe thin our hand down to draw cards with Custom Catcher, but it looks like we might not have the option to work with this hand anyway, because we are getting judged here on turn 1. So now it's going to be, what are these cards we draw? We get a Greens and an Ultra Space. This is actually very good for us. We actually even got the Beast Energy, so we can get a turn 1 knockout onto this Jirachi. And that's really good for us, because now that means, and we got Fiery Flint as well for the following turn. That means we can get a knockout here on this turn 1 with Blazer, even if we don't hit a Fire Energy. And also Greens for Welder to set up. So we can knock this out, and then we'll look to knock out Pikachu and Zekrom, and then look to customs knock out Dedenne for the game. So let's just get things started. Searching our deck, looks like we prized a Fiery Flint. We've got a Baby Blown in our hand now, and I think we prized just 1 Fire Energy, so not too bad. Yeah, just 1 Fire Energy. We've got the Greens in our hand. I think we prized the Brock's Crit, it looks like, and a couple of Pokégears. Overall, not too bad of prizes, and it looks like our last prize is that Acro Bike. Alright, so we'll just get the Baby Blacephalon. I think we definitely want to get that. I wouldn't mind getting the pivot here of the Pheromosa, but we need a Pokemon for the next turn. So let's start with Greens for a Welder, because we do want to accelerate to one of these two guys, potentially. There is a chance they whiff a knockout on this Blacephalon, which would be really good for us. And I think our other card, we've got the Flint in hand, so we can discard top deck plus the prize. And then we Flint and knock out Pikarom, so we just get, wait, no. That would not quite be enough. So let's get Welder plus Flint. I think that's what we would need. Yeah. For the next turn, to guarantee knockout on this. We could have gotten another Greens, but we'll just go this way. Take the KO, flip over a prize card. It is a Pokégear. And this is one of the things I like about Blazer. We get to see this card, and we're going to take it because we want to be able to find a Greens potentially on the next turn. So getting into the 1 of Beast Energy there, very good for us, obviously. And since we only had 1 Fire Energy prized, it was not super high odds that Blazer would have done very much for us. And if they say end their turn by retreating into Jirachi, or if they just hit us with Zapdos, we can even win the game at that point by knocking out another one prizer, knocking out a Pikachu and Zekrom, and then using Blacephalon GX to burst GX for our final prize. They use Ultra Space there, it looks like, and just gonna fail it. They do. All they need here is a... Oh, they're gonna actually custom catchers. Okay. I was gonna say all they need here is a Thunder Mountain and a Energy, and they'll be able to get a knockout. Oh, just a pass though. Not a very good hand for our opponent. We'll take this turn to get the pivot in play. I think that's pretty good. And what do we flint away? I guess just the 2 energies. We could get rid of Pokégear energy because we need to discard 5. I guess we are looking to find a Fire Crystal here potentially anyway. And I might want a greens as well. So we're definitely going to play this. And we definitely get rid of 1 fire. We just get rid of 2 fires. Yeah, that's fine. Because on the other end of the welder, we can flint again if need be. We'll get those secret rares out of the deck. If anyone's got some secret rare energies they want to trade, I've got a lot of packs, but I just haven't had chances to sit down and try to trade for those things. I think I'm going to Pokégear first to try to thin a supporter out of the deck. Because I really want to draw like a Fire Crystal here potentially. So we get those 2 secret rare fires onto the active. And we do get a bunch of fire energies. We do need to play this flint though if we want to get the knockout. And that would put us with a lot of energy in the discard pile. But this is the only thing our opponent has set up. So I think extending a little bit and getting the knockout here is actually just fine. We won't have much of a follow-up with just the welder in our hands. But if we take care of their threat, we have a couple turns to draw out of it potentially. And we're also getting a decent amount of prize cards here. We know we prize a Fiery Flint as well. So we have odds to draw it off of this. There we go. We did get one. And we got the other fire energy as well. So things are looking good. We could potentially just Fireball Circus 1 to knock out a Jirachi this turn. If we do get into custom catchers, of course, and 4 energies to discard, we can knock out Dedenne for game. So they're going to start things off with a Thunder Mountain. 1 turn too late, unfortunately, for our opponents. And they're just going to hit us with a Cynthia. See if they even have a switch card here. And I think what we would do here, since they're down 3 custom catchers, right? Yeah, we just would look to get the big Blacephalon GX and bench it while knocking out this Zapdos. So we need 3 energies in hand. There's a pretty good top deck right there. We don't have that many energies in the deck. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think we only have 1 in the deck. So we really need to find some Fire Crystals. So let's just accelerate to this for now. And there we get the big Blown. So we could just... There is 1 energy left in the deck, right? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 1 energy left in deck. We can flint away the Beast Ring plus the Acro Bike. Oh, we're not knocking this out, though. But this is still safe to put down, at least. And maybe we look to Brock's Grit next turn into Fiery Flint. Yeah, I think we definitely can just put this down, but we'll hold the Flint for now. No attachment is fine. And we'll just Blazer so we can flip over our prize card, see what we want to take. And I think that last prize card, if I remember correctly, is an Acro Bike. And this also means that they might not be able to move this since they did use one of their switches last turn. But that will be enough for them to get the knockout now, doing 40 damage with Thunderous Assault. And that is all they have, actually. So I think what we do here is we just knock him out with Blacephalon. So we'll go Brock's Grit in 6 fires. I think that's really all we need to do. Brux Grit, 6 fires. I don't think we really even need Pal Pad at this point because we can set up for game here. We just get rid of these 2 things. And we will attach one to the BLOWNS-GX. Retreat. Fireball Circus, we can discard just 2. That'll be enough to get the knockout, especially after the Beast Energy. And then next turn, we have game by just sending up the Blacephalon GX and using Burst GX for the game. And they have no way to deal with that. I don't think they can stall us out. We, of course, can just retreat this. This also has 1 retreat. I guess if they did get down the Absol, which Danny Altavia did play in his top 8 list, and somehow were able to stall out our Pheromosa, that would work. But like we know, they are out of custom catchers, so I don't think they're going to have much of an option here to close this one out. Custom catcher will draw them a couple cards before their Dead-Eye change. And yeah, this one went pretty straightforward and pretty good for us overall. You see just the huge potential advantage you gain by having a 1-prizer that can one-shot tag team Pokemon GX. So Volkner can find them an energy and a switch, and yeah, I think they were just kind of looking through the deck, seeing if there was anything else they could do, but like I said, all we needed next turn was to retreat and then use Burst GX for the game. So there we go, pretty quick game number 1. Baby Blowns taking down the mighty Pikarom. And we'll continue on here and see if we can't find some more tag team decks to feast on. Like I said, should have a good Mewtwo matchup, should have a good Guardian matchup, should have a good Pikarom matchup, but then we'll have a really hard time with most of the other stuff in the format. Things like Malamar, things like Behem, things like Nagquag. Those all seem like they could be tough since we don't really have enough gas in the deck to knock out multiple 1-prize Pokemon, most of the time at least. So we'll just see what we do run into as we continue on. TCGO Share 12. I believe this is Joe from Omnipoke. We'll give him a hello. Good friend of mine, also fellow YouTuber, content creator, and player. So always happy to run into Joe. And I didn't catch his types though. I like how Joe has gone out of his way to make his avatar look like him. I did the same thing, as you guys can see, although I do need to update the hairstyle since I got a haircut, because that doesn't quite work anymore. Alright, so we are going first. I think we just start the Baby Blown. I think that seems just fine. Alright. So I think we're going to just greens for a Flint. Flint discarding Acro Bike and Pal Pad. We definitely need 1 Flint. We did prize a Flint. We also prized a Fire Crystal. How many of our energies do we have? We've got all of our Pokemon. Looks like we've got all of our energies. Nope, we are down 1 Fire Energy. I can't count. Got all of our supporters except for the Brox. Yeah, so that's pretty good. And down a Beast Ring. That's good to note. So we'll just get Flint plus the Ultra Space so we can find our Pokemon. Start things off with that Ultra Space. And we could actually just hold the Flint because we have to Welder plus attach anyway. Like, attaching here doesn't do very much for us. And then we could maybe get rid of a better card than Pal Pad. And also, if we get a bunch of energies in our hand and he stamps us, that would be very bad. So I think we're just going to pass for now. Kick it over to our opponent's turn. Let's see what deck they are playing. Jirachi start could be many things. It could be Malamar, could be Pikarom, could be Ability Zard, it could even be Pidgeotto Control, since Jirachi is what Grant and I played in our deck. Of course, that Grant ended up getting 2nd place with at at Atlantic City this weekend. So Joe, I'm sure here, is using Ultra Space. Yep, we see the shuffle of the deck, checking his prizes. I'm just going to start things off with a Stellar Wish. Does find a Cynthia, so this still could be any Malamar deck. Oh boy, what have you done? What is this? Pokemon Research Lab. Gonna be a Fossils deck, it looks like. I believe there was like a Fossils Rampardos deck in the top 32 maybe, or top 64 of Cologne, and oh no, we see a Lily for 1 on turn 1. That's not very good. And just using the Pokemon Research Lab, it does look like it is going to be a Rampardos deck with this is going to be an issue for us potentially. This could be an issue for sure. We only need to discard 1 with Fireball Circus, which is nice to get the knockout here because Richey is of course weak to fire. So let's just go ahead and discard the, I think just Acro Bike and Pokégear. Pal Pad still could be good, of course. I want to be able to find a Welder next turn, though, and so Pokégear I kind of want. I think we discard Pokégear. I think we just discard the Pal Pad. I really want to try to be able to find a Welder next turn, potentially. So we get some nice secret rare energies out of the deck as we can. I almost clicked his Stadium because it was lit up for me, but of course it does end your turn if you use it. We do get an Ultra Space, so we can get the Pivot this turn. One thing about this deck is that there isn't a way to search out the what's it called? The little guy? What's his name? The little dude with the V on his head. Victini. There we go. Can't search him out, but I guess the idea is that we'll just eventually draw into it. So we take our first prize. It is a Fiery Flint. That is actually really solid for us. With just 1 energy in the discard so far. Here comes a Stealthy Hood. That's not going to be very good. He's just thinning that out of his hand. Cynthia is going to shuffle, draw 6. I still am laughing at the fact that he Lilied for 1 last turn. Not ideal, not what you want to be doing. Here comes an Unidentified Fossil, and another one. Pretty good draw off the Cynthia, as well as an Escape Board to put on the active and just run into the Fossil, which seems fine. Speak of the devil, there he is, the Victini himself. Let's go ahead and just get this guy out of the deck. And I guess we can go ahead and throw the Victini down into play. Yeah, that's fine. What do I want to discard here with the Fiery Flint, though? We do have to discard 2 energies. I guess if we found Welder with this, we could Welder 1 onto the Blacephalon, or onto Victini here. Try to draw some cards that way, because I wouldn't mind finding Beast Energy, but I think we just need to Flint and discard the Pokégear. I guess we can discard a greens. I think that is, I guess that's okay. I don't remember if this deck played Stamp or not. Discarding a greens does kind of feel bad. I almost don't want to attach the energy because I want to be able to knock out these guys. I think they have like, I think this guy's evolution has 160 HP at least, I know. This one might just have 150 if I'm remembering right. But that is still a lot more HP than I would like to deal with. So let's just go here and get greens and Welder. And I kind of think I'm just going to hold the energy because I want to be able to have access to them in my hands. We have to Welder plus attach. We have to like attach 1 next turn anyway, and we're not going to attach to the bench. I guess we could attach to Victini next turn, potentially, if we attach now. But I want to have enough energies if he doesn't knock this out, actually. So let's just Fireball Circus. I don't know if his deck plays Stamp or not. I'm sure he's just testing out the list that did well, and then he'll like make his own changes and stuff. Let me look at Limitless and see if it's posted on here. Yeah, top... Alright, 26th place, Tobias played it. Here comes Richey. Oh, so he's already retreated for turn, so that's pretty good for us. Alright, so it's just a 1-1 Caracasta. 2 rare candy. He does play the 1 reset stamp, so that's something worth noting. He plays karate belt as well, so can power those things up quickly. Yep, there's a karate belt. And the Caracosta is probably not great for us. Of course, it's a water type. So we can greens knock this out. We'll just put this in our hand, and I think that's fine. Discarding 2 energies to knock this out. This thing with 2 energies on it. Yeah, I think we're just going to do that. Bring that guy up. He's probably very sad. Yeah, and he's just going to scoop there. I think bringing that up is kind of the nail in the coffin. I was a little scared of that deck, not going to lie, but things ended up being okay for us. And we're going to continue on and see if we can get another game for the video. I'm definitely going to be covering that fossil deck that was on my list of decks to look at this week, so stay tuned for that, guys. And I guess also feel free to check out Joe's video on it. He's probably streaming right now, but I'm sure he'll be doing a video on it as well. So feel free to check that out. OmniPoke, they make great content on their channel. Definitely enjoy watching their videos and their like top 10 lists before big tournaments. Alright, Duran here. Looks like a Mewtwo deck, most likely from those types, but they have a water coin, water deck box, and a grass sleeve set. Could be trying to throw us off there. We'll just throw Pheromosa in play for now. Excuse me. Alright, some sort of Reshizard deck. It could definitely be Mewtwo, though. Could also just be Ability Zard. We do see, though, that it is Mewtwo coming down. Welder for 1, definitely not the ideal first turn. I see a water go down to the bench, though, so makes me think it's probably toward Reklev's version of the deck with the Greninja GX with Mist Slash that lets you hit through all effects. So good against Keldeo, good against Psychic Charm as well on Gardevoir and Sylveon. Our hand is a little awkward for sure. And if he is playing towards, if they are playing towards deck, Tord only played 1 switch, so that is something to consider here. We can just go Ultra Space and what do we want to do? Greens for Ultra Space plus Welder, maybe. Let's see what we get off Acro Bike first. Okay, well, I guess we'll take Heat Factory. I think we still just take Ultra Space Welder. I think that's fine. And there's a chance they do whiff the knockout here on the Pheromosa, actually. We did prize a Baby Blown. We prized a Beast Ring. Good to consider. We do have the Brox. So 3, 4, 5. We've got all of prized 1 energy, excuse me. Prized a greens. Yeah. And a gear. A couple of things in there that we prized. Always good to note. This turn we can attach because we don't have 1 powered up yet. I think we will just pass. Could have gone for a high jump kick there to make it so we need to discard 2 less energy to get a knockout. I actually wouldn't have hated that. Maybe that would have been pretty good. They're going to use Marshadow's Resetting Hole, though. That does slow us down, potentially. And Dede Change. Discards a bunch of cards. They must have top-decked the Dene, I would imagine. Oh my goodness, they discarded 3 Welders. Or 2 Welders, because they used 1 of them. They had no fire energies in their hand. Here comes a Cherish Ball. Gonna get a Greninja GX. I wonder if they can thin their hand down to use that ability. Here comes a Viridian. Oh, they're just gonna discard it. They could have used Elusive Master potentially if they could have thinned their hand down a bit more. Here comes a Bill's Analysis, letting them look at the top 7. And gets a Welder plus a switch. So they find their 4th Welder. That's definitely good. They're just going to hit us with an Outrage. Kind of thought that's where things would go for them this turn. So I think we're just going to Viridian away the Pokégear. We could Viridian the Custom Catcher. We probably only need one set of Custom Catchers to win the game. So let's actually just do that. Yeah, we only need one set of Custom Catchers to knock out the Mewtwo if we get the knockout this turn. So let's start with Welder, because we might draw into Ultra Space and want to play that based on our hand. But most likely we're going to be wanting to play Heat Factory here. Let's start with Pokégear. We do get a Welder. We have a Greens. Let's thin one more card out of the deck theoretically before Heat Factory. Heat Factory, of course, does give them some draw since we know they have a fire in their hand. But they also used a Cherish Ball. Oh my goodness, 3 fires. That's pretty good. We are just short of being able to knock this out, but I guess this is a decent turn to use High Jump Kick, because now they were going to knock this out anyway. We weren't going to retreat to this, and now we need one less energy in order to knock out the Reshiram and Charizard, and we're going to get this back with the Fire Crystal next turn anyway. We do need to draw into another Blacephalon, but we have greens in our hand, which can let us find one. And they actually put a Giant Hearth in play, which is great for us as well, letting us get some more energies in our hand. Did they use the Heat Factory? They must have, right? They definitely should have. I'm pretty sure they did. There's that fire in the discard. Here is their last Welder. Unless they play the Mind Report Mewtwo, that will be the last one. They are choosing to power up the Reshiram and Charizard. Maybe they have Custom Catchers in their hand to knock this out, but if they're playing Tord's deck, Tord did not play Customs. So I really think they should have just powered this up and then looked to Outrage and knock us out, because they could lose these energies, unless they're looking to find the switch to Turbo Strike with the Mewtwo. That could be what they're eyeing up. Oh, did they just get the Muck? Yep, they sure did. Muck and Alolan Muck tag team. Gonna go ahead and use Resetting Hold to get rid of the Giant Hearth. That's definitely smart. We should be able to get the knockout here regardless, though. Yeah, so I really don't agree with them putting all these energies here if they're just going to Outrage for the knockout anyway. Could have loaded up one of these Mewtwo's. We'll go for greens. We definitely need the Ultra Space, and I guess with the other one, we are going to already Fire Crystal for 3. We've got the 5 energy to get the knockout. I guess we can just get a Fiery Flint for the next turn. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. And get out this guy. Can't attach any energies. And yeah, so that was a really good use of that fire energy, because it basically became 2 energy for us, because we used 1 for an attach to attack for 20. Whereas we would have been short an energy here to get the knockout if we hadn't done that. So it was basically we got 2 uses from it. So we'll just go Fireball Circus, pick up the KO here, and a Reset Stamp from our opponent could definitely be very scary for us, and this is where things can get scary for Baby Blowns. We do have another Beast Ring in the deck now, so that is a good out, but we only have 1 more greens, I believe, because I think we prize one. Maybe we do have 2 in the deck. We might have 2 still. And if they don't hit a stamp here, we should be just fine to close things out. Oh, and they just have to go for Turbo Strike. And we should be chilling. We need 6 energies to knock this out this turn to just end the game right away. We very well could do that. We have Beast Ring in hand. We top deck Fire Crystal, which is ideal. So let's get out the big Blacephalon. We can definitely discard this with the Flint. 6 energies in the deck. So what's better, Beast Ringing or getting them out with Flint? I think getting them out with Flint and using Welder is definitely better here, right? So let's do that, and we can discard the Beast Ring. Which might seem kind of weird, but Beast Ring is kind of just like extra card if need be. I think we should be able to just, I think we just have game. So let's go Welder. Ooh, yeah, just 2. I was like, thought I misclicked something for some reason. So then we can Flint again, discarding this and this. Getting the 1 more energy out. Getting the Fire Crystal. Getting 3 energies. Attach for turn, and yep, that was more than enough for Fireball Circus to take the KO. So as you guys can see, it definitely feels like Baby Blowns has solid matchups against a lot of the tag team decks, and is definitely really, feels pretty consistent. Reset Stamp is definitely something to be scared of. We didn't have to encounter any of it in today's video, but the deck ran very smooth, so congrats once again to Brent on his finish. Very awesome stuff, and with a unique deck nonetheless. Let me know what you guys think of Baby Blacephalon. Definitely give it a try for yourselves, see if you enjoy it, and let me know if you want to see me make a deck on the a video on the Fossils deck. That's definitely something I think I want to cover, so let me know what you guys think, and be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to see more Pokemon TCG videos, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna get out of here. Until next time, take care.